A second Trump presidency is hardly a surprise. The Democrats ran a disastrous campaign, and many people were just not moved by the big old boogeyman Trump narrative. But we've been here before. We've been through 4 years of a Trump presidency. We know how he is, and we know that he'll probably be 10 times worse this time around. So how should global South countries like Jamaica deal with a second Trump presidency? Well, I think that several opportunities will arise. First, Trump is very anti-immigrant and very anti-global South. He famously referred to such countries by derogatory names, and neither he nor the members of his Conservative Party want anything to do with immigrants from the global South countries. So I think that this is a very good opportunity for countries like Jamaica that have a high immigration rate to convince more people, not just to stay home, but convince many of their people in the diaspora to return. In fact, Jamaica has had a national diaspora policy for several years that claims just that as one of its objectives. Developed in 2019, the National Diaspora Policy listed among its objectives to address some of the more pressing challenges faced by the diaspora at home and in the countries where they reside, to foster greater national and cultural affinity to Jamaica, including the targeting of second, third, and fourth generation Jamaicans in the diaspora, and also to build stronger and more empowered diaspora communities for a more prosperous Jamaica. If conditions in the United States worsen for immigrants under Trump, including those who are naturalized, then that is a perfect opportunity for governments like Jamaica to create the conditions that would make immigrants want to return home. And when I say create systems, I don't mean create special systems for diaspora people. I mean create the conditions for all Jamaicans, those who are at home, that are good enough to make those who are overseas in the diaspora want to return to live there. Another way that Jamaicans can benefit from a Trump presidency is to really examine closely the political system that we have at home and compare it to what exists in the United States. In the US, they have a two-party system similar to Jamaica, and what we found, particularly in the last 4 years, is that there's not much difference between the two. What we've found is parties that put forward a public face and ideology of who they claim to be, and then turn out to be something they are not. And this has been particularly pronounced in the Democratic Party. In Jamaica, we have the People's National Party and the Jamaica Labour Party, and many Jamaicans have known for years that there's hardly any difference between the two. But I think the recent US election cycle has really exposed the flaws in the two-party system, and that people need to have viable third-party options outside of the duopoly that exists in the current economic climate. Now, over the years, we have seen many third parties pop up in Jamaica, and then they slowly fizzle away. And I think one of the problems with the third parties, finding success in Jamaica is that people are not really prepared for going the long haul. They are not prepared for really addressing the systemic issues that are in the system, exist in Jamaica's political system. They know that there's something wrong with the duopoly, and they know that Jamaicans need a third option. But I feel like these are people who have come up with a concept and they know what they want to see. What I see are people who have not consulted with the Jamaican people on the ground on what would make the society better. It's a group of people who have decided that this is what Jamaica would want in a third party. And if you're going to have a third party system, a third party must be counter to the two-party system that exists. It should not complement it. The third party should challenge the two-party system. And so the third party, the first part of that, in my opinion, is to go on the ground and find out what people want, and don't decide for them what you think that the people want. So I think that a Trump presidency is a very good opportunity for Jamaicans on the ground to really examine the existing political climate with the two-party system that we have, and start to look for alternatives to this system so that we can truly have governance by the people for the people. And another major thing that could come from a Trump presidency is the matter of trade. Now, we all know that Trump is very nationalistic. He's America first, and he really does not care about trade and trade issues when it comes to global South countries. I think that's a good opportunity for us to look for new trade partners where we can benefit economically. Jamaica has always been on the losing end of many of these trade relationships with North America. And I think that while the US is distracted by its America First policy, we are in a good position to really step forward and look at handling trade matters for ourselves, creating new partnerships for ourselves in a way that would benefit Jamaica and Jamaicans as a country. As each country looks to protect its economy and looks to forge the partnerships in ways that benefit themselves and their people, Jamaica should be doing the same. Now, this is not to say that we're going to embark on a wide-scale protectionism in the market kind of thing, but we have a powerful regional bloc, we have the African bloc, we have many alternatives to the US predatory trade system. And we should really be looking more closely at those alternatives if we want to create economic conditions that will benefit not just the Jamaican populace, but would encourage diaspora Jamaicans to once again make Jamaica their home. All in all, I have no doubt that the next 4 years are going to be horrid, but it does not have to be all bad for global South countries. I think that there are opportunities there if we have leaders who are willing to seize those opportunities, who are willing to step out boldly and do what needs to be done to make sure that countries like Jamaica emerge from this bigger and better for its people.